Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody is well. I'll add a good afternoon, a good afternoon, and a good afternoon, and a good evening, good evening, good evening, good wherever you are. Really, really, really excited. Yes, I am excited to talk about today's topic. Today we're going to talk about grounding, grounding. And it's really interesting because I really love taking the time before any of our inspirations and really reflecting, like removing the intuitive understanding of a certain topic and going to really the basis of asking myself in a way that perhaps I never have of, well, what is grounding? What is grounding? And what does it mean when I'm not grounded? And how do people infer and refer to grounding? And are there different interpretations and words of grounding? So I usually just go back and try to remove any biases that I have taken on with respect to a topic and try to do it in the purest sense. Just like I'm starting to read again or learn numbers again. Angela, hello, I have difficulty with grounding when emotions are high. I don't practice enough. Fantastic, Angela. And that's one of the things that I wanted to start off with. Let's talk about what is grounding. And maybe it's easier to talk about when we're not grounded. So Angela says beautifully, when emotions are high. When emotions are high, I have difficulty ground. So emotions are part of grounding. So how do we know when we need grounding? How do we know when we don't need grounding? Why do we even practice grounding? So that's what I sort of wanted to start with, because once we get a basis for it, then boom, we can understand it from its lowest common denominator. So Angela introduces emotions. So emotions are in major element when we say we need to be grounded. We need to be grounded. I need to ground. So emotions are a great indication, because when we're happy, I never hear anybody say, go ground yourself. Go ground yourself because you're happy. So let's really discover. So when I started looking at this whole topic of grounding and just sort of, like I said, going high, going to the highest level, the egoic level of what does grounding is. What I found was really interesting. There actually is something called grounding or earthing technique. Earthing technique. And that's not the grounding that I was referring to and when we said, let's do a topic on grounding. Rita, good morning to you. What sweet words you have for me. Thank you. It wasn't, so there is a technique called grounding or earthing technique, which was discovered, and it was an environmental scientist, and they were doing a bunch of different studies about looking at people's fatigue and disconnection and chronic pain and inflammation. And that grounding technique was actually walking barefoot on the earth or sleeping on the earth, and recognizing that there was a transfer of the electrons of the earth to our physical bodies. And they recognized that there was a physical transfer from the earth to our bodies, and that we are no different than a circuit. And what's really interesting is that there were studies also done by somebody that was in the cable industry, cable TV, and they likened our bodies to cable circuits, and when it was grounded, there was less reception, there was less issues reception. So it's so interesting that the grounding we're talking about is a whole wellness meditation, sort of more general grounding, but the roots of it has some environmental studies that, and grounding is a technique of walking and grounding and connecting and reconnecting on an electrical, on a physiology level, on a physiological level, then there's more than just going on in emotion and feeling, which also always fascinates me. Grounding also has an electrical term. So when there's a live wire and to secure and for safety, boom, grounding is also. So that goes back and forth where I always talk about us as being a vibrational translator. We are vibrational. We are transmitting. There is something going on beyond this, beyond just feeling. It's physiological. And that's what I think is really important for us to really focus on. Lynn, since my husband died, I'm really struggling to ground myself when I am anxious. Beautiful. Anxiety comes in, anxious. And Lynn, we've talked in the past about anxiety and anxiousness being a fear that we can't articulate, a fear that we don't want to. So we, instead of going to the fear, we stay at saying anxiety, which is removed. And the grounding is fantastic because it is about being with body, connecting to body. And when we're connected to earth, earth is something that will hold us to allow us to feel safe to be connected with body. So beautiful, Lynn. Even when I'm aware that I need to breathe into my anxiety, I feel unable to do that. Lynn, wonderful. We will work together of becoming aware of like a lot of those different dimensions that are going on. Let's start labeling anxiety, and I invite you right now to what is the fear, what is the anxiety, what is the fear that you are avoiding? Because when we say anxious, we're avoiding the labeling of fear. So let's go into the fear. Let's go into the fear. So when we're at the anxiety level, we're removed. We're removed. When we're at the fear level, we're still removed, but then we can go closer to the body. So, and we're only going to do it when we're ready, but moving from anxiety to fear will help us get closer into the body to be able to release, to accept, to surrender. So Lynn, today we'll do a lot of things. And if you want to start answering those questions, go for it, and everybody go for it. Kim, good morning. Yes, I watched a documentary about that. Fantastic. I assume that was about the grounding. It was a few minutes ago that you said that. I walk barefoot in the grass daily. Helps with depression and also helps with inflammation. Really amazing. And you know, I love when all our inspirations come together. Last inspiration, we were actually also talking about hugging a tree, touching a tree, feeling the tree. And that is the same grounding. They labeled grounding or earthing technique as walking barefooted in the grass, but anything that connects us back to nature. And the biggest word that I'm going to keep saying and keep saying and keep saying, that I believe that the grounding is about connection. Ultimately, all of us know during all of our inspirations that the word connection to bigger, connection to earth, connection to humans are one of the really integral requirements and needs of being not just human, being alive. I mean, we see that in our pets, we see that in animals, we see that in nature. Even nature, they grow together. And they're seen that that the trees in the backyard are all there side by side, and they might keep space for each other to grow, and there's different things, but they're connected at the bottom. They're connected through roots. They're feeding each other. They're nurturing each other. They're loving each other. So as a human, we require connection, authentic connection. I was watching a documentary yesterday, and again, the people were coming in. It was about a cult or something that they suggested could be a cult. But the reason people entered into it is because of the desire for connection, for community. So the grounding is a way that, and again, coming up on a higher level, for us to have exercises that connect us to earth, which then allows us to connect to self. And ultimately, and then connect to bigger. So we've always talked about in the inspiration that we want to be connected to really the three bodies, connected to bigger, to spirit, to God, inner being, purpose, reason for living, life. You label it what you want to label it, but there's a connection, a bigger connection, a spiritual connection. Our body is the conduit, the vehicle, the wire for that connection to bigger. And then we're also in this physical journey, and so much spiritual bypass fascinates me. So people that want to be connected spiritually, connected here and Zen and all of these things, but forget that there's a physical experience. There's a physical body, and this physical body is our wire, and this physical body needs connection. And connection to earth is the most stable, beautiful, amazing connection that we have. So today we'll talk about what are different ways that we can get connected and grounded. Today, this is a way for us speaking about it, understanding it, honoring our human journey, honoring the physicality of us, honoring how we feel, because how we feel calibrates us to wellness. Honoring our bodies, our sensations, our what we might call anxiety, and the root from getting that from anxiety to calling it fear. Honoring our feet, honoring the outside, honoring environment, honoring the trees, the woods, the lakes, the oceans, honoring other animals, honoring other species. So that's what I consider grounding. And so today we'll continue to talk about all of the elements, but the fabric of the human journey, of which grounding is a specific tool that guides us towards connection, which is one of the integral elements required for us in our human journey. How does that feel? How does that sound? I see that Kimberly says, hey, I'm Kimberly. This is my first time on your sessions. I do grounded, but not as well or as often as I need to though. Fantastic. And Kimberly, what I love about that is that you recognize wonderful, but you've got judgment in there. You're judging yourself. Whatever you are called to, whatever you waken to, whatever you desire is perfect for the moment. And together, what we also talk about, and this is what Lynn was sort of saying, and Kimberly, I don't do it enough. We talk about the muscle. We talk about us developing different muscles. Even me, I recognize when I start to feel a bit off, I'm like, oh, there must be something that I'm not doing to honor my body. What do I need to calibrate back to? Maybe sometimes it's about my eating. Sometimes it's about sleeping. Sometimes it's about meditating. Sometimes it's about walking. Sometimes it might be about my yoga. Whatever it might be, it's like, oh, this is what I haven't been tending to allow myself to be into alignment and connection and just in flow. But what I would like, and this morning actually, because I wasn't doing what I wanted to right away, I actually decided that I'm not going to do it until I first stop judging myself and accepting the yes I want to and the no I don't want to whenever it wants, and not holding a should as often, a judgment on myself for the past. So my current awareness on myself and the way I process the past is that if I did not do when I may have had space to do, and maybe I was grounding rather than working, that I honor the moment that I had chosen. So Kimberly, I love that you're saying, okay, I do as often as I need. And maybe what we could start doing is saying, how do I know? How do I know how often? And instead of saying I don't do it as often, we start to measure our body. We start to calibrate, which our body is a feedback system to say, oh, I need to do now. And then we start to reduce the buffer of time between feeling off and doing what we need to do to fill our body up. How does that sound, Kimberly? I'll finish reading your statement. I ground by meditating and soul dancing. Absolutely love that. Love that, love that. And I'd love to know what type of meditations you go into and how you meditate. But I need to use Kim's routine and walk barefoot in the grass daily like I used to so long ago because it was so helpful. Fantastic. And that's what today I want. I want us all to talk about what brings us and makes us alive. What are the routines that we do on a daily basis that allows us to go into the day and feel alive and feel open and willing to receive and flowing and at ease and just happy? How do I set ourselves up in the morning And how do we end the day to remove anything that is keeping us from being grounded? And let's share together what the things that we do from a lens of growth and expansion, from a lens of love, from a lens of, hey, everything I've been doing is exactly as I need to be. And this is all part of the earth school that I'm in. This is part of the learning. This is part of the growing. And without all this learning and growing, I wouldn't be human. So I want to just remove any of the judgment we all hold towards ourselves in our past, and do it from a lens of excitement, of growth, of exploration, of curiosity. That's what I'll invite today, was we talk about grounding, because I see that we've all are holding like, I know I should be doing it, but I'm not. I know that I could be, but I haven't. I know, and there's something in there that we're all judging ourselves. And I would love to invite you all to say, let's do this from a place of strength. Let's do this from a place of curiosity. Let's do this from a place of growth. How's that feel? How does that feel, everybody? Lynn, at times I feel overwhelmed by how many things I have responsibility for that I didn't before. I realize there's a low level anxiety about this, and that there's things that can sometimes overwhelm me. I'd love to know how to let go of that, or is it just part of grieving? Lynn, what you just said, I could already see that Rita identifies with you. So some of it is a part of the process that you're going through because you lost your dear husband, and it's a part of process of grieving, but it's also a part that everybody can relate to. We can all relate to being overwhelmed. One of my meditations that I wrote is overwhelmed by life, because a girlfriend of mine is overwhelmed. And I laughed at her the other day because right now it is overwhelming when I look at her from my lens, but when it wasn't overwhelming, she was still overwhelmed. So I just laughed at her. I said, until you learn not to be overwhelmed, your life is always going to be overwhelming. And she laughed and said, yes, this is true. So there's an element of it that is a conditioning that we've all adopted. We've all adopted for life. I used to use the word crazy. My life is crazy. Things are crazy. Things are over. That was my verb for overwhelming. So that was my description. I didn't use overwhelming. I was using crazy, going from here to here and this to this to this to that. The only time that overwhelming, crazy feeling left is when I went back inside. So today I actually purposely called it grounding despite what's going on in the external world. So whenever we talk about we're feeling like this because of X, Y, and Z outside of us, it's the human journey. It's normal. It is not abnormal, whether we lost someone, whether it's our children, whether it's the life that we're leading, whether it's the responsibilities and the stresses we have. Those are all external. And it's a normal part of the human journey. But our collective opportunity while we're living on this beautiful earth and having this earth experience is calibrating internally. And life externally is going to teach us things to teach us how to go in internally. So today's topic is all about life is happening outside of us, and how do I ground? And grounding is using the universe, using the earth, using our physicality, recognizing that there is a physical component that allows us to connect, feel that sense of connection, feel that sense of trust, build in those roots, security. Can you all put in what it is that we're looking for? Can you help me? Security, safety, connection. What are those words? What are those words? Let's start to amplify the feeling. Let's start to figure out what we're trying to calibrate to. Comfort, ease, and if you want to write the opposite, go for it, because you all know it's step one is awareness. Step where is awareness. So let's being aware of what we don't want. So step two, we can acknowledge what we do want. Step three is appreciating that this is the human journey. So step four, we can let go. And five, surrender. So beautiful. Balance, says Mary Alice. Beautiful. Balance. Balance. Regardless of what's going on, I'm still balanced. Standing tall. Grounded. Connected. Sporty Jen, filling a void after grief and loss. Filling a void after grief and loss. Beautiful, Sporty Jen. And I sang it a few times so I can feel it. And ultimately, the connection and the love that we have of other people, it does fill us. And it is an external feeling of loss. It's an internal feeling. It's a physical feeling of loss when we lose them. So it's interesting because it's external, internal. We've allowed an external, and I don't, sorry if my language is sloppy, because I don't mean allowed. It's the human journey, but you guys know me. I don't mean anything ill of it. But we've allowed a external physical relations to fill us internally. And then when we lose that external, we feel a void within ourselves. So beautiful, beautiful. Rita's saying, yes, I did that. Wonderful. Because I'm always worried that when I say something, it comes out sloppy. But you all get me. You all get my intention. I'm going to stop being worried. So what we need to fill, what do we fill from inside? Share with me. What should we fill? We can fill the love, the unconditional love. Because when we're dependent on the physical love, that's conditional. This is conditional, and I've never said this before. You all say things that lead me to an awareness. So we're when we allow conditional physicality to fill us, that's allowing the external world to fill us where we need the internal unconditional love. And that's the love of the universe, of life, of earth, of grounding, of nature, of beauty, of unconditional, of what is it called? Infinite. But we allowed finite to fill us rather than infinite. So Sporty Jen, I hope you can feel that. Beautiful. And what I want us to do, okay, I'm going to read some of these and then I have a little exercise I want us to do. And I know there's some bigger comments I've messed up above, which I'm going to go to. Cynthia, not separated. Fantastic. Not separated. Other side of the stick. Connected. We're all looking for connection. Intimacy with ourselves and intimacy with others. So when Lynn says that she feels that anxiety, we're missing intimacy, and that intimacy was filled by a person, and that person is gone, which is a normal part of the human experience. And now we got to connect with intimacy from within. And there we go. That's what Kim is saying. Feeling at ease within, finding joy, a sense of joy. Cynthia, homeostasis in mind, body, soul with the universe and love. Beautiful. Integrity. Dissociated. Himanshu. So what are the words that we're end up saying? And we're saying connection. We're saying being filled. Many of us use the word being filled. We're saying joy. We're saying ease. We're saying balance. And then what I'm going to invite you is, where do we get that from? So Rita, for those who feel stuck in that space, need suggestions because it's hard to sit alone in the evening. And I'm sending you love, and I'm sending you all love, and I'm sending you love for even the strength and the courage and the ability for us to share all of this. And then I just want to remind you, this human experience. And so there is beauty in all of this because this is what we call humaning. And the part of the human experience is different times of our life. We will be given experiences to help us build our muscles, to build our internal muscles. Because when we are born, we're all external. We're born internal, and we're born learning truth, and we're born with this beautiful energy within us. But we've got the external world that's responsible for us fully, which allows us and makes us pull in and calibrate to external because we're fully dependent. And it depends on our circumstances, what our conditioning is. So all of this is the one thing that I want us all to recognize. This is normal. This is the human experience. And this is the beauty of the human experience. And together what we want to do is normalize the desire for connection. Despite the social media and the phones and the people and everything that's going around in a hub, we're actually feeling more disconnected, more disconnected. And what we need as humans is simple, true intimacy and connection. And life is going to teach us that. Life is going to teach us that. So what we're going through is normal. And we get to talk about it freely and openly. And Maria says true love and freedom. And Sporty Chen says pure love, unconditional, without judgment or expectation. So what we're looking for is unconditional. We're looking for infinite. We're looking for love. We're looking for freedom. And that's all within. But life has taught us to look outside for it. And then together we're going to muscle through to recognize the beauty of the world and life so we can connect and calibrate it to it internally. And that's just beautiful. It's beautiful that we can and that we do and we're capable and we desire. Cynthia, when can we minister to show compassion for that part of ourselves that feels lonely, separated, or depressed? So Cynthia, it starts with what we're doing now. It's just looking at lonely, separated, and depressed is not bad. On the weekend, one of my clients called me really upset. And this is a client that has been coping using different means to numb out how he feels whenever he feels overwhelmed. And he called really overwhelmed, really overwhelmed, and needed help getting grounded. And all I needed to say was, this is normal. All humans have a feeling of feeling sad, angry, disconnected, sad, lonely, separated, depressed. I don't like the word depressed sometimes because I feel depressed isn't a moment. I feel like depression is a word that gives it to you. Like sad feels like it could be a moment. Depressed feels like an identity. So I don't like using the word depressed unless we call it as an emotion, not an identity. Okay, not an identity, because I don't like identifying. I like to become aware of, but not identifying. There's a big difference between being aware of feeling and identifying. I am sad, I am lonely, I am depressed. What I want us to do is become aware of it and not label it as bad. Label it as a recognition that there's a muscle there that I want to build. There's a muscle here that's showing me that I've deviated from my truth. There's a muscle here that's showing me that I'm not expressing myself. I'm not connecting with others and myself in the way that I would like to, in the way that's fulfilling me. That there's a calibration system that's saying, oh, your refrigerator is supposed to be at 3 degrees, whatever it's supposed to be, and it actually isn't working. It's going up and it's at 10 degrees. Uh-oh, boom, boom, boom. I need to either get in the repairman or I need to put in ice or maybe the refrigerator, I need to plug it in. Oh no, the plug came out because I was vacuuming and the vacuuming was hard and the vacuum wasn't plugged in either. So I need to plug in. So what we are at Sporty Jen are buying a new washing machine. Exactly. So we need to plug in. So what we want to do is recognize that all of the feelings that we're having are not bad. And if we have been conditioned to feeling a particular feeling over a long time, we're just going to muscle through until we build a new muscle, build our muscle. And it's so easy when we think about this as physically, if something happened to our arm or to our leg, and then we had to heal it, and then we had to strengthen it, and then we went to different chiropractors or different doctors that helped us tool and build our muscle again. It's no difference. Our emotional body, when we talk about feeling lonely, separated, depressed, sad, angry, disconnected, is our emotional body. And most of us have lived life ignoring it and not recognizing that it's a muscle for us to build, to go to acceptance, to move to surrender, to calibrate to happiness, to go to ease. It's a muscle, and we've all learned and been conditioned to use the muscle hard, suffering, struggle, depressed, angry, difficult, and we're just going to work together to build a new muscle. And the awareness is that life is beautiful, life is easy, and life is as it meant to be, and life is life. There's no judgment on this. We all have life. This is life experiences. None of this is bad. We just learn to take it so seriously. How is that, guys? How does that feel? How does that feel? I hope I'm not overly simplifying it, but really speaking to it in truth, because that's what my point is. Mary Alice, aware of the big picture and the details of the moment. Beautiful presence. We haven't talked yet about being present. The details of the moment, being present. Plugging in that refrigerator, that washing machine, or that vacuum, that body, plugging in our body is being present with it. How does that silence feel? How does it feel just to sit quietly? And how often do you give yourself the space, even while you're drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, in the evening, to just have that space to feel? Not to judge, because in the beginning we all came in judging. I spent my earliest morning judging myself, and I'm like, now I'm done with that. Stop it. Stop feeling like you're not doing all the things that you want to do, and honor that you'll do it when you do it. Stop it. Accept my every me, the every moment of me, and not think that this me in this present moment is the better me than the one 5 minutes ago, because I'm ragging on her because she didn't do what she didn't do because she wanted to do. And recognize the collective me's will get everything done when it gets done. And when I calibrate to being accepting of all of the me's, everything gets done in the most beautiful time, and all the me's feel amazing. All of the me's feel amazing. So if you want to look at every single one of you in time is a different you, stop judging the yous and just look at the only you we have control of. The only you that we have is the me, is the now me. So look at the now me, and how is the now me feeling? Cynthia, rather than I am lonely, say there is a sense of loneliness. Beautiful. So the now me will look and say, oh wow, I can feel that sense of loneliness. Oh, it feels really interesting. Wow. The now me is going to journey to the past me's and see that this is actually interesting. This is a conditioned pattern that the me has been brought up. And that early in my life, for whatever reason, I've calibrated to feeling lonely. Wow, this is interesting. I can feel the me at 3 feeling lonely. Oh wow, this is super interesting. Super interesting. I can feel the now me, or the past me at 3 feeling the loneliness of my mother or father. Oh wow, this is interesting. I can see it in my grandparents. That's where the amazement comes in. When you start to look at the connections of all these pattern feelings through your ancestors, through all multiple generations, then you start to not really take it personally, and you recognize, this is just my human journey. This is my conditioning. This is what I, as my human experience, get to learn an external feeling, and I get to learn how to measure that and feel that from inside internally. Wow, this is fascinating. That's when it becomes fascinating. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Do you like it? Do you like where I'm going with this? Jay is saying good stuff, which is a few minutes ago, so fantastic. Mary Alice, all there is to do today is all there is to do today. Yes, and can we take that, Mary Alice, to this moment? There is just this moment. And everything that we've talked about grounding in the beginning was about the past. We were about judging ourselves. And everything we talk about is also about the future, about the fear and the anxiety of the future. But when we just get present with the moment, and that's why it's all about being present. That's why at the end of the day, everything that you come into and all the spirituality is about being present. But You can't get present until you honor all your feelings. You can't get present until you recognize the anxiety, the fear, the stress, the disconnection. You can't get present until you recognize this is part of the human journey and all of the bodies that are working together, and honor them. Honor the physical body. That's the one that's physiologically being grounded with your earth, and the emotional body, that's your calibration system to let you know whether or not you need to do work or what you need to do. And then your mental body, that's the one that we get to depend on for processing it on. This is the brain. This is the mental brain. This is the emotional brain. So we've got different brains that are working for us. So if we just want to walk around barefoot on the earth all day, then we get stung by a bee and we don't recognize that that's actually physical pain, and we do things with the physical pain, and that physical pain might actually have created emotional pain of being fearful, and now we don't want to walk barefooted because we're scared of bees. Boom, that's the human experience. But what we do today is detangle it from it. What do we call it? We call it the deconstructed key lime pie. Our deconstructed key lime pie, that we start to see the barefoot walking on the earth, honoring our physical, and the emotional, honoring every emotion and every external death, and how that gets me to recalibrate. Boom, 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 in such a sudden way internally again, and to honor that process. It's a rainbow of emotions. There's an extreme physical loss, a physical intimacy, a relationship that is lost. And that's value of the human experience. That physical intimacy, we're not going to say don't be physically intimate with people because you're going to be fearful that you're losing them. But we're going to recognize that there's a story bigger than us, and there's life and death that we don't control, and that there's a meaning in life and death, and honor the journey in our feelings, and honor the journey in how we feel, and honor it the whole way until we calibrate back to acceptance. And we might go from sadness, Lynn and Ruth, you can tell us what are the different degrees that you went. And I know they talk about 7 steps, or 5 steps, or 3 steps, but I think there's an infinite number of steps, and it's a rainbow, and it's spectrums, and we go through them, and it's complex, and it also has to do with the conditioning that you have, and the connection, the loneliness, and all of this different things. But it's just part of the journey, and let's just hold it with love and honor and compassion and care, until we can come back and calibrate to the truth of our existence, which is unconditional. I haven't said those 3 words yet, which are the unconditional worthiness, and the unconditional freedom, and the unconditional love. The beauty of who we are as humans is to calibrate to those 3, to know that we're unconditionally worthy, we're unconditionally free, and we're unconditionally loved. So I'm going to read Sporty Jen, and then I'm going to go back to some of the comments that I missed. I was at a friend's at the weekend, and I was chatting to her about the physical aches and pains, and how I had been upset by my doctor and their judgments. Within a few minutes, I couldn't understand why I was so angry and upset. But then the real truth came out about how much I missed my sister, and the tears came out. Of course, the anxiety has flared up again, but it did feel good to admit and honor my truth that I am feeling sad. Sporty Jen, fantastic. And that sadness will come out in different ways at different times, because our body is also protecting us. I think if we really put out all of that sadness that we might have at one particular moment, it would be overwhelming. So our body just allows us to compartmentalize it and feel it in different ways at different times, and it's beautiful. So I just celebrate you for having that moment and having a friend that will hold you. And more than that is recognizing the association between your physical, the judgment, other people's judgments, and then your recognition of your emotional, the emotional truth. And the more that we can go to recognizing the physical that we have within our body and truly associate it directly with the emotional and the mental stories, that deconstructed key lime pie, that's where the freedom lies. Because when you realize that this physical pain is actually because I feel sad about, I miss my sister, and you can let it out. You can let it out, and you can honor it. And then maybe you could start to feel her and connect with her, and to know that she's here, and to see her and sense her on another dimension. Grounding is about being grounded on the physical. So today we've been talking a lot about the physical, but there is a spiritual. There's a spiritual. And us as humans, we're the wire, the conduit for the connection between the physical and the spiritual. And it's only with the connection with the spiritual and the physical where we are healthy and happy and free and expressing the truth of who we are. So Sporty Jen, that's absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And that's what I'm excited about today, is that we're just looking and feeling about the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth of our physical journey, the truth of our physical journey. Okay, I think He-Man Shu, I think I missed you when you said hi 34 minutes ago. Guys, I've been on different tangents today. Or did I say good evening? Yeah, maybe I did say about He-Man Ju. Then we were talking about Kimberly. And then Lynn. No, you guys, maybe we are, am I caught up? No, I know I'm not caught up. I'll go back again, but now I see Lynn brought me to the bottom. I'm still so connected to Ted. It is at the letting go of the practical things that he took care for. Lynn, how long ago did you lose Ted? And I think what's very powerful is looking for all of the human 8 months ago. It's still really, really, really fresh. I think at the 1 year mark there becomes, and again I'm speaking just from speaking to friends and loved ones that have gone through, at the 1 year mark there is a freedom's not the right word, but I'll use your word, a letting go. And so you're still really fresh in the process. And just honor when you feel the pain, as best as you can, move to feeling again what you had, connecting to the feeling that you had. So right now you feel the loss, and then go back to feeling that connection and using the past to help you calibrate to what you had. And then when you are thinking about the practical things, so maybe it's, I don't know, the garden, the house things, financial, look at whatever it might have been that he was taking care of, the cooking, the clean, whatever it is, when you feel that loss, that sense of loss of security, and maybe talk to me about what it is. Maybe everybody that's lost somebody, share rather than me just extrapolating what it is. What is it, the physical things that you're missing? The talking to, the connecting with, the things that are being done for you, the security. Just go and feel that. And then go and feel about how it felt when you had it. Recalibrate to knowing that you had it and you will have it again. So honor the feeling. I'm not asking you to overwrite it. I'm not asking you to effort it. I'm not asking you to do this mentally. This is not a mental exercise. This is an emotional, purely emotional. So I'm not asking for affirmations to say, no, I am connected. No, I am taken care of. But it's going into the emotional body and feeling the not having, honoring it. Let's do it right now. Everybody's getting into this. I'm going to read Maria's comment. Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. But it's funny that right now that I am telling you to go back into feeling the positivity of what you have. Use the past and the future when it can raise your vibration in a beautiful way. So accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be for accept what is. Yes, always accept what is. Positive or negative, the acceptance and surrender is what we want to get to. So in the present moment, we just want to be I am. It is. It's okay. And not it's going to be okay, but it is okay. Life brings. This is the beautiful moment. I'm here to grow and expand. I'm here to learn. I'm here to feel. I'm here to be. Let go of what was when we use the past in judgment and negativity and resistance. Let go. When we can use it to calibrate to better. So sometimes I'll say, hold on to a feeling that you had in the past and you can bring that to the future. So let's not let go of what was. The past is just here for us to grow and expand. So if we can look at all of our past as that was a vehicle for us to grow and expand, and holding on to the judgment, the fear, the resistance, the anger of the past, no, let go of that. The emotions that we have stored in our body, physically and emotionally, yeah, let go of that. But when we can calibrate to higher and calibrate to the truth and calibrate to honoring the human journey, we'll hold on to the beauty of that, because there's a beauty of the human journey. And then have faith in what will be. Yes, the future is all about trust. The reason that we are feeling sad about the losses that we had is because we're fearful that we won't get it again. That nobody can replace the spouse. Nobody can replace this sibling. Nobody can replace this parent. And it's true. Nobody can replace that spouse. And nobody can replace that sibling. And nobody can replace that parent. It is true. We're all unique. Nobody will ever replace me. Might be people better than me. Might be people whatever. But nobody will ever replace this expression of Manal. But the feelings are universal. And when we are looking to one human being to fill us and to give us those feelings, then we are becoming conditional human beings. And this life is teaching us how to be unconditional. Guys, I have never said it so clearly before. Tell me how that feels. So we honor and love every human that we connect with. We honor and love every relationship that they bring. Our partners, we didn't talk about divorce, has the same feeling of loss. So we lose people, we lose friendships. I know some of the biggest pain that friends of mine and people that I have is loss of friendships. Not just from death, because of loss for whatever parting ways. So, but those are conditionally using people into having conditional internal calibration. And humans are here to teach us to connect to bigger and to earth. So it's all part of the human experience. Does it make it less painful? No. But it allows us to shift it from being a victim to honoring the human journey and recognizing it's the human journey, and recognizing that right now in my human experience, I am living an experience that teaches me how to surrender to life, how to trust life, how to have faith. What is it that that Maria said? Have faith in what will be. Have faith in what will be. Have faith in what will be, in the trust. Beautiful. So I know that I asked a question about how we felt with others. Angela saying not feeling alone. And Steve, smell and their voice and their food in some cases. Beautiful. Physical connection. Physical connection. When we lose others, we miss their physical connection. And those physical connections, all of those senses have beautiful memories and feelings. Irie, unconditional love and hope for our future together. Beautiful. There was a hope. When we lose people, we lose hope. Hope. And that's, again, Maria was saying, faith in the future, trust in the future. And when we lose relationships, we lose hope in the future. So now we have to build a new perspective and view of the future. And it's knowing, again, what we're doing is deconstructing the key lime pie. Instead of saying we're sad about the loss of our companion, we recognize, oh, I've lost my view of my future is now distorted. And now I've got to rebuild my present moment and my future. And that's okay, because we're creators, but I'll take the time that's best for my highest good, for me to rebuild, for me to reconnect, for me to re-envision, for me to see. For me to see. Maureen, beautiful. She says, so helpful. Fantastic. This is giving me so much insight too. This is so beautiful. You're all so beautiful. And it's all of your sharing. It's all of your sharing that brings us here. Sporty Jen, talking, laughing, companionship, knowing each other so well we didn't have to speak. Our emotional and physical connection, our hugs. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So interesting that we talk about grounding and it brings us into the loss of the physical, because grounding is all about being conditioned, physically connected. And the first physical connection is other human beings. We were swimming in our mother's womb. I remind my children all the time, you're in my womb for 9 months. No matter what happens, we will always be connected in a way you can never be connected to anybody else. You were swimming for 9 months in my stomach. We will always be connected, and regardless of what's going on in life, I will know that those three, my three, are physically connected to me in a way that nobody else in this world can ever be connected to me. Does that mean that we always feel that connected in this human journey? No. So that was an experience that I was blessed with. And I know that if I was blessed with that experience, that the universe can continue blessing me with different relationships. But I need to be open to allow them, and not to be stuck in believing that because these three came from my womb, they'll be the closest three to me forever. That those three need to be the three that are most connected to me. So there's a opening and a believing and a mindset that we all need to shift into to allow what we may have lost to come back to us, and to not to feel that what happened, what we had in the past is the only thing that can project and go into the future. How does that feel, all? How does that feel? I got some yeses from Rita and Kim. Sporty Gem, a lot of anxiety and resistance to this, Manal. Beautiful, Sporty Jen, because this is what you need to clean up. So I'm glad that we're getting this out. And I hope if there's anything that I say that triggers anybody, and I know we don't like that word triggers, tell me. Share it, and let's get to the root of it. But this turned out to be much more. I thought we were going to be talking more about, oh, we can do this and this. I didn't know we were going to go so deep, but I think this is so powerful and so amazing. So if there's anything that I say that comes and just sort of gets at your tender spot, bring it out and let's figure out where this tenderness is coming from. Sporty Jen goes on to say, I'm afraid I am put all my physical and emotional love into my two boys, and sometimes, beautiful. And that's what you're doing. You're going to replay the song until you learn that the song is no longer that song. So I'm going to read what Sporty Jen is saying, because this is really, really, really insightful. You guys, can you not hear me? I see that Jess is saying no sound. Can you hear me? Give me hearts or give me words or give me a yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm not going to continue saying anything till I know you can hear me. It's also interesting to sometimes see the lag. I see some hearts. Yes, I got some hearts. Okay, I'm going to read Sporty Jen's again, because this is the pattern that we need to be aware of to break out. And Sporty Jen is saying it beautifully. Now I'm getting the yeses. I love to see the lag, the connection, the physical, the lag. Okay, Sporty Jen. A lot of anxiety and resistance to this, Manal. So this is, guys, we're talking about death. We're talking about loss. We're talking about it at the guttural area. Now I got all these hearts. I don't know if it's about you guys liking what we're talking about. You can hear me, but you can hear me. I am afraid I have put all my physical and emotional love into my two boys, and someday I will lose them too. Yes, somebody will go. I don't know whether it will be you first or your boys. And just so everybody knows, Sporty Jen's boys are cats. That's why I could say yes, they can go before. Even if they were boys, human boys. And yet, for now, I have them, so they are keeping me going. You know what? Knowing that and sort of playing with your relationship with death. This is why we've had inspirations about death, because there is a beautiful relationship that we all need to start to have with death. We are going to lose our physical friends. And these friends are humans, they're trees, they're gardens, they're homes, they're relationships, they're people, they're everything. This is part of the human journey. The biggest pain that I see in my friends and my coaching clients are with respect to loss in relationships, and it's not always death. And sometimes even the death ones have more pain or immediate pain that goes in such a concentrated way. Those death of relationships are almost this slow drip of pain. Slow drip of pain. So right now we're all talking about those death relationships, but I know those death of siblings not talking to each other, friends not talking to each other, parents and children, and all of those things have this slow drip of pain. So let's become aware of it and know that no, nothing in this physical world is finite. Physically. Spiritually, we're infinite. Spiritually, there is something that's infinite. We are infinite. There is an infinite. But this physical Manal and everybody physically is finite. So if we're going to put and stack all of our beliefs and hopes and inspirations and aspirations on the finite, we're going to feel it when it goes. And losses at all stages in life help us build up that muscle towards calibrating to the infinite. All of our life experiences are here to help us to calibrate to infinite. Lynn, I have thought about that. I almost think the loss of a relationship is more difficult than a death. I think it is in some ways, but because it's a slow drip, you don't see it. It's funny because a long time ago, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, I recognized that people have different type of life experiences. And some of them are pain that goes boom and right immediate. And some are like these stories just go on and it's just, and I'm like, wow, which one would you want to be? Like they're both like, what? It's like pulling off the Band-Aid slowly or just ripping it off. Which one hurts more? I'm a ripper-offer. I'm like, just rip that thing off and I'm going to just brace myself or try to relax. I'm a ripper-offer. Some people are not. Some people like to do it slowly. But that's what life brings us. But it's all here to teach us to calibrate to infinite. Okay. I'm so lost, you guys, about comments of where I've got and where I haven't gone. Lynn, what you're saying is making me aware of a tightness in my heart center, so it's tapping into something that I have to sit with. Beautiful. And I'd like us to do a meditation today because I can feel that there's so much emotion. The energy of the room doesn't feel like electric like we have sometimes. It feels like it's not as high as I'd like it to be, but I think we're going to do a meditation soon. I know there's a lot of comments back that I missed. If you made one of those comments, put it in the window. I'm still going to scroll back, but clearly I have had trouble going back half an hour back. Jess's restarted sound came back fantastic, so Jess can hear again. Sporty Jen, exactly, Manal. It took me 19 years for my last cat because my beautiful Coco passed away suddenly 2 years and 2 months after the anniversary of my twin brother. It gets too deep and entangled. Beautiful. So Sporty Jen, your life human conditioning experience is to teach you how to feel internally what you give externally. And anybody that had so much death in their life would have that same lesson. So you're not special in terms of that. What am I trying to say? The conditioning that you were offered is what, if anybody experienced it, it would all be about how do you go inside to get what you've given outside. You got a twin, you lost your twin. There's nothing more intimate. I was talking about my children who were swimming in me. You were swimming with another human being. That human being is no longer here. There's an intimacy and connection that twins have that people do no matter, you cannot have. You were swimming together. You came out together. You've had every timeline together, every experience together. The loss of a twin, I believe there's a connection that is unprecedented to other relationships. And so your life conditioning is teaching you to go within, go within, go within. Look at the relationships that you calibrate internally and go within. And we all have different conditioning stories, and yours is a death one. And how does that feel? You say, wow, Sporty Jen, but how does that feel? So just realize that this is my conditioning experience, and that loss, and start to keep going inside, and know that they're inside, and Coco is inside, and your twin brother is still connected. You're connected, and try to connect and find that connection on another level. Go outside of your physical experience to find that connection. I think, Lynn, I've read your comment. Steve, absolutely, that sucks. Talk about a lesson. Yeah, some of these lessons are intense. You guys took us to the most intense lessons. Yes, yes, yes. Maureen, yes, go happy and positive. Okay, fantastic. We will go right now. I think we're ready for it. Lynn, Manal, this is really tapping into collective emotion. We are blessed to be here together. Beautiful. I think we are going to go into body now. Jess, Carrie, halted grieving of loss of relationship with toxic parents, longing for impossible connection to person who harms me. Beautiful. There's a few things that are really deep, Jess, that I'm reflecting on that. There's a few things that are really, really deep. And when I'm speaking right now, I'd like you to hold me from the spiritual, not from the physical. Not from the physical. I am not speaking from the physical lens. I'm speaking from the spiritual lens. Okay? So I'm going to reword what you wrote from a spiritual lens. And once you can start to open your lens to a different way, it's going to allow you to shift your physical experience. Because everything I want for everybody is to shift and find compassion for your physical experience. That does not mean that trauma and toxicity and abuse and loss and anything is okay. But when we hold it from the physical, it doesn't allow us to heal. Another word I don't like to use, healing, because it means that there's something about us that's broken. But there is elements of us that's heals, but I just don't like to use that word regularly. My word for healing is now inspiring wellness, inspired wellness. I'm still working on it, but I like us to calibrate to wellness, not healing. And there's a subtlety in it, because healing means we're broken, but I know that healing has a beautiful word to it too. So I'm looking for the way to honor it while also calibrating to wellness. But Jess, I'm going to re-say that in a spiritual way. That you're aware that there is resistance within you because of conditioning from people in your life. And these people are your parents. So some of the physical words that you put is grieving and loss and toxic parents. And what I want us to do for all of our life stories is to try to shift it to recognize that there's a conditioning human experience. When we have death, so when Sporty Jen and Lynn and Rita are talking about death, it's easier because the person we blame is God, sometimes the universe, life. So some people will carry an anger towards life and God and the universe when there's loss. And so there is a healing that needs to be done because there is an anger and a resentment that's put towards it and a judgment towards bigger, which needs to be healed. Needs, I don't like that word, but offers healing so you can be connected spiritually on all different levels. But when it's a human, we put that anger and we hold it towards them. Now this human, from a spiritual lens, are conditioned adults. Just like you were conditioned, they were conditioned. And they were probably conditioned by abuse or abandonment or different things that made them not be able to give unconditional love. For me to be able to go from a lens of seeing my parents as victims, I don't want anybody to be victims at the end of the day, but I'm going to use this language until we get to the point that I'm getting to. But to see them from the same lens that I see me, it makes me need to get outside of my physical feeling. It needs me to get into a spiritual. It needs me to look at the lens of the human experience from a different lens. So, Jess, your first sentence just says, I have conditioning of calibrating to worthiness or calibrating to happiness. Can you see that? Can everybody see that if we rescript Jess's first sentence to Manal language, that Jess has an awareness of resistance within your body due to relationships, which is fine, which is your human conditioning from, we could say from your parents, but it's your conditioning. Can you get there with me, Jess, and can everybody get there? I see a lot of hearts going on, so I know that this is resonating. And then this is, so step one, your step one, but I'm going to make the step one less personal, and I'm going to make the step one less victim-y, and I'm going to make your step one less painful to help you get to a egoic lens, to help you to get to the lens of understanding the human experience. We will work through the physical loss and grieving and pain. So the meditation we're going to go into is we are going to go into the physical pain. So all of us have our stories. You guys, I'm saying this in a way I never have before, so stay with me. And Jess is asking me to say it again. I'm going to say it. When we talk about those stories, we talk about it from the human. We talk about this from the physical. We talk about this from us as being the physical me. The one, remember we talked about the me that's now and the me's of the past? When we talk about the pain, the grieving, the loss, the toxicity, the abuse, it's the me of the past. It's the physical. Our healing occurs when we can come to a level of awareness to become aware of the physical. Aware of that physical story, but not from being in it as a victim, but being aware of it as a human on the human journey. And then I become aware of the physical story. I become aware of the emotions. I become aware of the thoughts, the victims, the stories, the physical judgment, the acting of it, the incident, the physical being of it at that time. And then the emotional, all of the emotional related feelings with it, the anger, the grieving, the loss, the subsequent years of putting on top of it and layering and layering and layering on top of all of that resistance, the thoughts that I have with it. I am a victim. My parents were toxic. My relationship was awful. X, Y, and Z. That's step one. Step one. That's what we do in the meditation. We become comfortable with all of that. Comfortable. Honor it. Celebrate. This is what I call celebrating your humanness. Celebrating your past. Honoring it. Aligning with it. Becoming aware of it. Whatever word that you want to do. I know in the beginning we're not celebrating it. We're celebrating the human journey. We're celebrating that this is the path. We're celebrating this is the way that life unfolds. Then we're going to acknowledge, which is then what Jess, it hasn't gone to Jess's second sentence, yes. Longing for impossible. I don't like that word impossible because that's limiting, and I believe that life is limitless. So I'm going to reword that. I'm going to read your sentence, Jess, and then I'm going to rewrite it. Longing for impossible connection to a person who harms me. So the harms of the past, and maybe they're still harmful, but I'm not even going to judge what they are and what they aren't and what they are going to be. I want to just shift in your mind so you can be free. So this isn't about whether they are, they're not, whether they will be or they will not be. This is about the shift within you so you can be free. So step 2 is longing for connection. Longing for being safe and secure. Longing for unconditional love, for freedom, for connection, for worthiness. How does that feel? How does that feel? And that's what all of the play is. It's going within the body. All of us sharing these stories, becoming aware of them and recognizing the bigger spiritual meaning. How does that feel? That was big. That was big. That was big. Just let me know how you feel. Lynn, Thich Nhat Hanh has a beautiful little book about the forgiveness of toxic parents. Beautiful, beautiful. And it's really the wording, removing even toxic parents I'm going to be doing an inspiration, I think, next week about trauma. And one of the things that I realized, it's because we talked about it a few inspirations ago, is that I want to remove that word trauma too. And it's because it's one of those words like depression that's sort of like an identity. And let's remove all of the identities. Let's honor the feelings and let's journey to release. So let's not even call it toxic parents. Let's shift to conditioning. Conditioning. It's less heavy. And now it recognizes the beauty of the human journey and the perpetual vibration, perpetual movement, the perpetual, it's vibration. I believe that some of this is just by nature of the vibration that's going on within us. Good. I see Nicole's ready for meditation, and so am I. Jess, this feels intense and very important shift. Fantastic. Cynthia, putting it that way, Manal, takes the responsibility off of the other person. Then they oftentimes will suddenly change their heart and come to me. Beautiful. And that's my point, Cynthia. I want to take this responsibility off of all of us and give it back to the beauty of the human journey. I want to take the responsibility off of every single human and recognize that this is the human journey and we're all doing our best and we're humaning. Celebrate your humanness, celebrating our humanness. We are humaning. We're having our human experience. This is earth school, life school, whatever you want to know. Lynn, I love that, Manal. I now understand that my mother was doing her best. Beautiful. And all of our parents are doing our best, and all of our siblings are doing our best, and all our friends are doing with, and all of the world is doing their best. Is their best always good enough for me? Heck no. But once I calibrate to a place of peace, love, and worthiness, I'll only attract those that are best for me. Good. Okay, guys, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good and really ready. Steve, I think a lot of this has to do with the core beliefs. Is that accurate, or the same beliefs and the numbness? Okay, and Lynn was saying that the book is called Reconciliation by, okay, beautiful. Steve, there's two types of beliefs that we use interchangeably. I talk about the egoic body, and I say the egoic body is where we carry our beliefs. And these beliefs is where I say, I am. We are unconditionally worthy. We are unconditionally free. We are unconditionally loved. These are the beliefs. However, in the human language, we will say about the mind, I believe that he was wrong. I believe that this. I believe the earth is round. I believe the earth is flat. I believe in XYZ. It's also a mind. I like using the word belief for here and talking about the true truths. Maybe I should start calling them truths and not beliefs, and that beliefs are sometimes not always true. That these beliefs in the mind are where resistance comes because we misbelieve things. So it depends on what beliefs we're talking about. But my play with all of you is recognizing what our beliefs are, our truths are, and recalibrating to these truths. So maybe that's it. I'm not going to call this beliefs anymore. I'm going to say truths. So our egoic level is where we carry our truths, the truths of the human experience and the truths of the purpose of our purpose in life. And then beliefs are a mental processing which can or cannot be true. I believe this, but I believe in the tooth fairy, may or may not be true. I believe the earth is round. I believe it's flat, may or may not be true. I believe that this person is honest, may or may not be true. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's what I believe it was. That's what I believe it was. Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, Sporty Gel, brilliant. Love this insight. Lynn, amazing live session today, Manal. Deep gratitude for facilitating. Fantastic. You guys, this was so deep. I'm ready to go into the body. Question, is there any comment that I missed that anybody would like me to speak to? Because obviously I have not scrolled back. So if there's anything, will anybody paste it back in now? That's what I'm going to ask. If there's any comment that I missed, please put it back in. If I did not say anything, if you feel you're covered, you're covered. And we are going to go deep into our bodies now and just really, I don't remember if this one I said an hour and a half or 2 hours, but I'm happy. Sometimes I put them as an hour and a half, sometimes 2. My intention is always an hour and a half, but I know we always been going over. But my intent to go beyond the 30-minute, beyond 15 minutes, probably a 20-25 minute meditation is my intention. I hope that works for everybody. Is there any comment that I missed? Because I know I missed some in the beginning, and I do not like to miss comments. I enjoy speaking and reading them all. Irie, my son has stopped communicating with me. We have always been extremely close. This thread has caused great pain. Okay, beautiful. And Irie, what I'm going to suggest, that we're going to talk about, do this in the meditation, but what I'm going to suggest is, instead of this thread has caused great pain, this thread has brought to the surface great pain that you have buried, which is now allowing you to resolve and let go. So when we talk in these inspirations, we're all sharing, but I believe we can only share if we have it buried inside you. So what I want us to say is, this is great, because rather than me getting sick or having physical pain, I've allowed it to come from inside to the outside and aware of it. And now we're going to let it go and heal it and resolve it in a different way. Irie, how does that feel? And again, I'm speaking spiritually. I'm not here in Manal to say, I am sad that you have this relationship, and I'm working with relationships on different levels in different ways, so I can relate as a human. Beautiful. That is my hope. And I'm going to say to you, this is my truth. This is my truth. It starts with intention, and I know that this was in you, and so I'm glad it's come out. So for me, I'm celebrating that you shared it, and I love it, and celebrate you, and love it, and celebrate your son, and just pray for you, whatever is the best of intention. But what I want for you is for you to have that surrender and that acceptance. And one of my dearest friends right now, her son is also not communicating with her. And it's a regular conversation with us about how and what, and worry and what she could do and what she shouldn't do, and just the surrender. And she's very spiritual. So I recognize I recognize that intensity of pain, and I'm glad that it's coming out now in a way that we can bring it to the surface and not have it buried within you. So thank you for sharing that, Irene. Is there anything else that anybody wants to share and make me aware of as we go into the meditation? Irene, that helps me with context. Daughter-in-law has built a barrier. Fantastic. And so I'm going to talk about building a bridge between everybody, including daughter-in-law. That helps me with the context a lot, actually. So thank you for that. And I send you love, and I understand that as a human journey. There's so many stories in my mind that comes to my mind when you speak to that. And I recognize the intense pain on so many levels, and judgment and resistance that builds up in a situation like that. And we'll do it in the meditation. We'll speak to it, and then after the meditation, you can share whatever you're aware of. So I appreciate that, and it's a common experience. Gary, hi Manal. I won't even ask my questions till next time. I personally am fine. I know that. Okay, how about this? I know that some people are ready for meditation. I'm fine for 2 hours, so I put this till 11 o'clock my time. So why don't we go into the meditation, and then Gary, go ahead and ask your question. And you might feel, instead of it being a question, you actually might be sharing it as a statement and awareness. So in this meditation, I invite everybody to be open to receiving the answers that you're looking for within you. Like, the universe will deliver every answer that you're looking for. The universe will deliver every solution. The universe will deliver the peace that you're bringing and that you're looking to at every level. So Gary, is that good? Do you want to ask now or after the meditation, seeing wherever it may have shifted? You guys are amazing. Today was so amazing. Today was so powerfully powerful. Okay, Gary, let's go into meditation and see how you feel. I'm here for you on at any time. I'm ready. So let's go into it. As Gary said, emotionally, I might not be ready today. Let's go into our bodies. Don't overindulge. This is for you and Steve in your emotions. See what your body tells you. And when we come out, if you're ready, let's go for it. So, good. Okay, I want everybody to start to become aware of your bodies. And just have compassion right now. Just as we've given love to everybody that's shared, shift that compassion towards yourself and become aware of the intensity of today's topic and the intensity of today's sharing, the stories, the feelings. So just become aware of your body. Just do a body scan and just see where you're carrying your tension. Take stock of just sort of being curious of during today in our preamble, whether you feel it more physically. So is it that your physical body has tightened up and you can feel things in your chest or your shoulders, your jaw, wherever it might be? Or see if it's more the emotion. So start to take inventory of how you experience. Is it that you feel sadness and depression, disconnection, or is it an awareness of the physicality of your body? So look into the stories and see which stories you may have related very strongly to. And just today during our meditation, we're going to be doing a lot of the deconstruction of the key lime pie. I want you to separate the thoughts, your mind, your mental activity, from your emotions, how you label your emotions, and your physicality in your physical body. So everybody we're going to have 3 deep breaths. Take a deep breath in. And when you breathe in now, imagine light. Imagine that you're breathing in just the unconditional, infinite light of the universe. And invite that light through your body. And then breathe out any tension, resistance, stories, emotions that you can easily breathe out. Now take a second deep breath in, again of infinite, unconditionally amazing universal light. Enjoy the feeling of that light within your body, and then just let out any resistance on the surface, any darkness, any pain that just can come out easily. Just let it go. And take another deep breath in. Enjoy the gap. This is where the infinite, unconditional light, love, worthiness, freedom exists. And release. Today we had an amazing exploration and their greatest collective awareness. As about the finite nature of being a human being. The human experience presents us with the opportunity to grow and to learn. It's just really why we're here. It's for growth and expansion. And collectively we're growing to just calibrate to the truth that we entered into this life with. It's the truth of our infinite, unconditional worthiness and freedom and love. When we entered Earth, when we left our mother's bodies, we knew this truth. And today we still know and can feel this truth. We always know truth. But the human experience is designed that as we grow, we start to take on vibration of the world. And I call this conditioning, that we're conditioned to the outside world, to the external world, with different stories, and our journey is to go back within and to calibrate to that truth that we were born with. It's an amazing design and architect of the human journey. Today, during this meditation, we're going to just go into our body and become aware of stories, resistance, pain that we've stored in our body as a normal part of the conditioning, and just let it go. We feel that we're connected through physical, but we're connected through infinite. And together we're going to feel that connection of infinite by removing any physical resistance and barriers to it. So I want everybody to become aware of their body. The first thing I want to do is just sort of feel, go into your heart. We talked a lot about loss, and loss occurs on different levels. Loss of our partners, our siblings, family, friends, loss of relationships. It could be through divorce, through death, through just not communicating. And just go into your heart and feel that loss that we talked about. And if there isn't a relationship that you can connect to, just any type of loss, or just feel that any type of sadness or resistance into your heart. And everybody to connect with that. As you connect with that, I want you to not overindulge in the feeling, but just be kind of curious. Now, in this loss, many of us actually can feel a hole or a void. So I want you to connect and see whether you can feel that hole or void. And if you feel a hole or void, what I'd like you to do is invite the unconditional love, unconditional worthiness, unconditional freedom to fill that void. And just know that it's possible, and that it was just waiting for this moment for you to grow from it and to learn from it and to understand it and to see it. And just the moment you see is the moment you can fill. So if you want to imagine light, platinum light, gold light, silver light, rainbow of light, green light, just fill up. Just your body will know what to do. Just fill the void that you feel. If you feel voids anywhere else in your body, go ahead and invite that light. You feel a particular area that feels lonely, lost, your abdomen, wherever it might be, fill your body with that light. Light of love, and just see it. Let that area know that you see it, that it was waiting for this moment for you to fill it with unconditional love. And at this moment, I also want you to fill your whole body. Just go ahead and fill it. Wonderful. Let's stay connected to your body and feel, sort of scan your body and see where you might feel a sense of resistance, pain. And again, go as usual, just enter through any one of your three bodies. If you want to enter through your physical body, so if you're aware of tension or numbness, pain in any way, just go into your body and just sort of as if you're surfing through it. Just close your eyes and just surf through that body part. If you want to enter through emotion, sadness or anger, or any of those words that you want to use, any resistant emotions, go ahead and enter through your emotion. If you want to enter through a story of the pain of the past, something you're carrying, go ahead and enter through there. As you're there, just sort of take stock of the feeling. If you enter through the physical feeling, just sort of feel. Be curious. Don't label it as bad. Just sensations. Recognize that it means that you are alive. Sort of surf through the physical sensations that you're feeling. Looking at it from a lens of, these are interesting sensations. Interesting tightness. Interesting aliveness of your body. Now see, as you feel the physical sensations, if there's an emotional label that you give that physical sensation. You might call it anxiety, you may call it stress, you may call it tension, you may call it controlling. Sort of look through and see, you may call it anger or sadness, so many different labels. Sort of, and there might be a rainbow of labels that you call it. So look at what that physical sensation and the emotional relationship you have with it. And recognize, oh, I don't always know what comes first, the physical sensation or the emotion, but I'm going to start to create an understanding and separate the physical sensation from the emotion. And it's when I create the separation is when I can let go of them. Invite any stories. I'm feeling this because, and these stories might be of relationships currently, could be of loss, could be things of the past. And recognize that you have the strength, the focus, the ability to always separate the thoughts from the emotions, from the physical feelings, which will then allow you to release them all. It's through the awareness of their separation that allows you to detangle from it. Enjoy exploring your thoughts independent of your emotions, independent of your physical nature. Even if you're recognizing them all at one time, you're still seeing them as three different entities, and enjoy that sensation. Oh, my thoughts are different than my emotions, than my physical sensations. And that any moment in your wakened day, you can look at a thought and the consequential emotion and feeling that you have, and then change your focus through changing your thought, or looking at a different body part, or focusing on the body part and only going into the physical sensation. So your mind is focused on the physical sensation, or focused on understanding the emotion. At this point, let's take a flight to your early days. Enjoy the physicality that you're looking at, the emotions, the story, and let's see when the earliest time in your life that you can relate to this combination of physical feeling, emotions, and story. Let's fly into your mom's womb. See whether these feelings resonate with you. While you're there, just send some love to the baby in the womb. Imagine that baby being born and see whether or not any of these feelings resonate. Regardless, fill that baby with love. Fly through your early days, weeks, and months. And just be open to whether or not you received this conditioning early on. How early did you start to create this patterned effect of physical feeling, emotion, mental story? Because always, invariably, we picked it up maybe from our parents, maybe from your mom, your dad, your siblings. Just be open to looking at it from fascination, from curiosity, not from blame or from judgment, but from like, wow, this is how physically the human journey works. We pick up vibration in our early days, and as we grow, it unfolds into my human journey until I become aware. And then the pattern can shift because now I have grown. It's just amazing. It's just an incredibly amazing design. Flying through your early years, your first year, second year, third year. Look for the patterns, and if you see the patterns, still give that baby unconditional love. You're 5, you're 6, you're 7, you're 8, you're 9, you're 10, invite memories, invite the understanding of this vibrational pattern with your intention to love it, to give it that unconditional worthiness and freedom and love that it has been looking for, so you can shift and you can grow and you expand to the truth of who you are right now. Tell it that it's done its job, that you've seen now the pattern, and that you're ready to grow and expand. Come into your 11s, 12s, into your teenage years. Just love on yourself and just see how sometimes the vibrational lessons come out combustibly. That you're sort of in your teenage years, and this is when spurts of energy is coming out because you're moving from child to adult, and the conditioning comes out in just really unique ways. And just love on yourself, and it's just a human experience. Many of us carry a lot of judgment and regret over our teenage and early 20s and how we may have treated our parents, or our parents may have treated us, and just recognize the human journey. It's the design. Just love. Fly into your 20s. See any experiences that may have marked you. And just shift that mark to love. Give it unconditional love. Flying into your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, 80s and beyond. I like to be inclusive. And if you already stopped at your age, you can actually give love to your future you. And just tell that future you that you know that the human journey is a journey of experience, of growth and expansion, and that you're here and you'll always be here just to love unconditionally and to grow and to accept and to surrender, and that you're doing the best that you can to create the best foundation for that future you. Tell that future you that you know it's about calibrating internally, and that you're doing all that you can do to love the past you and to be present in the now, to love the current you, to allow that future you just to be in happiness and flow and balance and ease, companionship, connection. Tell that future you that you know that life is amazing and that experiences are going to happen, but they're all here for your growth, and that you're committed to loving, and that you could see the love in the future you. Fly back to the current place that you're in and see how the resistance that you're looking at has shifted, and see that there's compassion and love and a higher degree of understanding. Connect with all that resistance that you connected with and just let it go. Just let it go, let it go. And if you just want to shake it off, go ahead. If you want to rub it off, go ahead. If you want to take a deep breath in of light and release. Take a deep breath in of unconditional, amazing light. And release. And take another deep breath in of light. And release. Take another quick scan of your body. Now that you've released, see if there's any body parts that you can feel any resistance in. And just do the same thing, just love it. See it and smell it and hear it. Recognize that it's here for your growth, and recognize that it's here for you to see it, and that when you see it, you grow from it. Just give it that attention, that desire for growth, that recognition of its beauty. Recognition of the beauty of the human journey. Recognition that this is conditioning and how we calibrate to external, and that you want to calibrate to the internal truth of your infinite unconditional love. And just let it go. And let it go. Take a deep breath in and let it go. A lot of us today dealt with and honored loss on the physical level. Create the intention to open to shifting, to just loving the experiences that you had, loving the people that were in your life, and just knowing that they're still here. And asking that that void that might be left within you to be replaced with connection, infinite connection and love to them on a spiritual level, and to help you shift it from a physical void and a physical loss to a spiritual connection, a spiritual knowing of the infinite unconditional existence of love and life and relationships. And just ask universe, inner being, God, just to help you make that shift at a time that's best for your highest good. To fill your body with unconditional, with connection to earth, to universe, to greater. Take a deep breath in and just release any of the resistance you connected with. Imagine the light, the universal divine just coming in through the core of your head and just washing through you, going through your third eye, your throat, your chest, your abdomen, your pelvis, your thighs, your knees, your calves, and out the soles of your feet. Imagine the light from the divine earth coming in through the soles of your feet, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your pelvis, your abdomen, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and out the crown of your head. I'm going to just pause for 2 minutes. Just create the intention for love and unconditional love to fill your heart. Create the intention for you to calibrate to the beauty of the earth, this beautiful universal human experience, and to calibrate your unconditional worthiness and freedom and love. If there's any other intention that you want to create, just go ahead and I'll call you back in 2 minutes. Wonderful. At this point, I'm going to count to 5. On 3, open your eyes and come back into the virtual room. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, join me back into the virtual room. Let me know how everybody is feeling. I trust we feel higher than when we entered. Gary says, I think I need to hold back today because I know I'll get intense and I need to be strong today. You are strong, Gary. As much as I love you in these sessions, I don't think I can today. I know how amazing you are at finding resistance, and I feel weaker than normal. A lack of sleep doesn't help. Gary, you know what's best for you. I'm here if you want to share, and if you're ready to do it next on Thursday, that's fantastic. You just tell me what you want, and I'm here for you. But you are strong, and anyway, you're aligned with your inner power, and your desire to hold yourself in any way is right. So you just see what's best for you. And I love you and admire you. Jess, I love all the color of the rainbow hearts. Steve Y just asking, do you and others say, go back to the first time you felt that feeling, or to go back to a memory of the first time experiencing? What does that do or supposed to do? I'm really interested. Steve, I believe in the law of attraction, and that's what conditioning really is. It really is about that vibration. And when you come back to the very beginning, you're pulling it out by the root. So if you imagine a vibration and it's rooted from the very beginning, and it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And then when you go back to the root of it, you're pulling it out through its root, and you can let it go. So really it is understanding. If you can understand where something comes from, then you can let it go. And so it really is deconstructing it. Oh, I feel this angry when you talk, or disrespected when you talk to me, because it actually reminds me of the time that my mom and dad fought when I was 18 months old, and my dad walked out of the door, and this is a fake story. This is not my story, guys. And then he left, and in there I felt incredible fear because I didn't know my dad was coming back. So those are the type of moments that if you can get back to that, then you can actually heal from day one. And do you have to? Do you have to go back? No, in meditation, if you really go quiet, sometimes you can let this stuff come out, or illness lets this come out in different ways, or there's different ways, but it's this awareness that frees us. And we can go back to it, we can see it, we see it in our inspirations that it comes back. Andrea, do you have this meditation available under your profile? Yes, I have it under my profile, and I put it under my different social media. I think I post it under my YouTube as well. So it has the video and audio, and I'll be putting it under, I don't know what just jumped in the trees there. I think it was a squirrel. And you'll also have the audio on Insight Timer. So absolutely, Andrea, this was a deep one. This is one that I want to listen back to as well and get some of the insight that we all came together with. Jess, softer, kinder, at peace. Beautiful. I feel the same way. I feel softer, kinder, and at peace too, Jess. I feel really good. Today was really intense. You guys, this was really a great inspiration. I've grown so much and have so much more deeper awareness of the beauty of our human journey and why and what. Steve, that's interesting. But Manal, what if I have no memory of that? The first time-ish, like no frame. Steve, it's not bad. I think you've kept yourself from having early memories, but go back to your earliest memory, invite a recollection. Think cellularly, we still do have, but if your body doesn't want to, it's not bad. But for those that can, it's good. And different meditations might bring different awareness that you'll be like, oh, this is where it's from. And then it just gives you a sense of peace to know that, oh, this came from here. This isn't me. This is really conditioning. This is just really patterning. This is just okay. But if you don't have memory, it's not bad. It truly is about just getting present in the now. And some people I like going back into my body and not understanding things at a deeper level. But if you can get present now and let go of resistance now without going through the storyline, it's the same power that you're connected with. Sporty Jen, I got deep connection to my infant self with Robbie and craving attention from our parents. It wasn't always safe for us to have a voice. Our escapism was that the bond we had together and with our older brother and sister. My bond with my siblings was very strong. I wanted to take care of them the way I wanted my parents to take care of me. That is my great need in life, to love and nutty. That's my great need in life, to love and nutty. Beautiful, Sporty Jen. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And your relationships are beautiful. I was going to say was, no, they are beautiful and they still exist. And for you, I just see that your biggest growth is just still feeling that you have that connection. And I know it doesn't exist on the physical. I know. And I know it's different. Even when you live far apart from people and you can FaceTime them, I know it's different being physically with somebody and being thousands of miles of somebody, and now somebody being in a different dimension and spirit level. But your biggest, I think, is just still feeling that what you had is what you have, and just continuing to calibrate to that, and just finding the beauty in what you, in the vibration that you held, and not feeling it like loss. Because once you felt it vibrationally, you always have it. So it's that feeling of loss that's keeping you. I don't know, Sporty Jen, if that resonated in any way, but that's what it is for you. It's that feeling of loss of what you had that's keeping you from what you have. I'll say that again. It's the feeling of loss from what you had that's keeping you from what you have. Because we all have it. And it's our judgment of the past, which in your case is judgment of loss, that's keeping you from recognizing that you still have it. Hold that, Jen, Sporty Jen. Yes, that's it. So powerful connection. That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm glad that you connected in that way. Kim, feeling comfortable with just being myself. Thank you. Manal, this has been so helpful today and always. I really needed this today. Kim, fantastic. I feel the same way. I just grew so much today. Irie, I just pulled the forgiveness angel card. The feeling of loss is truly keeping me in a sense of longing. Irie, you're the same thing that I said, Sporty Jen. The difference is Sporty Jen is with relationship that's gone, and yours is with relationship that's here, but that feels like it's gone. And so if you just continue to calibrating that the love that you have for your son is present, that no matter where he is, and even if he never speaks to you physically again, that you're connected to him and that you love him, and he was the one that was in your womb, and letting go of that void from keeping you to feel the connection that you have. So I'm going to say what I said to Jen, Sporty Jen again. The feeling of loss from what you had is keeping you from what you have. We all have it internally. We all have it internally. So find that calibration to love, to compassion, to forgiveness. And as you really get it from truth, you will attract everything that you desire. When you find and calibrate to surrender in truth, you will just only attract that everywhere in your life. So Irie, do you feel better? Gary, that's beautiful. Oh my God, you guys are so beautiful. You guys are amazing. Today was so incredible. Today was so incredible. Irie, fantastic. And I want us to keep working together till you come and you say, I feel amazing and I love my son. And I'm so happy that he found somebody that he has connection and deep connection to. And you start to shift to see and love what he has. And then that will come to you either through them or different relationships. So I'm not going to pretend and say, when you do this, you get your son back, because it's conditional. To do that is conditional, and that's where I think that manifestation and law of attraction goes wrong. Do this so you can get that, and then there's the conditional nature of it. Life needs to be unconditional. Don't do it for something, but when you do it, you'll get it unconditionally. How is that, guys? I don't know if you guys can see, he came in a few times. Bean has joined. Bean has joined the meditation. He jumped on during the meditation. Oh, here he is. So everybody is feeling well. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling a sense of, I feel like I expanded today. Like I know I always talk about growth and expansion, but today I really do feel like I expanded, and that I have a higher sense of not intellectual understanding, but emotional feeling of what the human journey is about. Sporty Jen, thank you. I love when they make their little when they come up onto the camera and want to be part of it. I'm like, okay, dudes, you come join us. Gary, I love my little cats too. I love cats too. Fantastic. Okay, everybody, Thursday or Friday. This week it's Friday. Disconnection from life. Next week, today I'm going to schedule a couple for next week. I think they'll be on Tuesday and Thursday. I'm thinking about doing something about trauma, but after today, I'm so scared to do some title like that. But the number one thing would be, let's rewrite the script and let's not call trauma trauma. But I haven't decided. If you have any topics, share with me. Join us, Attaining Your Authentic Life. If you're not on, you guys are all amazing. I love you unconditionally. You help me grow and see and feel the truths in life. I hope you join on Friday, where we talk about, I just said it and I just read it again, disconnection from life, which is really interesting. Gary, yes, just listening to everybody as well. Gary says just listening to all of you has helped. Kat, what time is it on Friday? It's 10 a.m. my time, which is New York time, Eastern, Canada, and US time. 10 a.m. I try to float between different times. Sporty Jen, thank you, Manal. That's been so powerful today, as always. Thank you, Sporty Jen. Yeah, today was particularly powerful. I see the hearts going on. Okay, guys, thank you. You are all absolutely amazing. You all lead and guide my growth. You are all just beautiful and amazing and strong and courageous and just living the beautiful expression of the human journey. And I just celebrate being part of it with you, and I thank you all. Until Friday. Jess says, yes, rewriting the script sounds great. Yes, thank you, Manal. Thank you, Jess. Okay, you guys, it will take courage for me to write something with trauma in the title, because I just don't know what we'd get. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But the whole point is that we're going to be rescripting it. We're going to be rescripting it. Okay, that's what I'll be calling it. I'll be calling it rescripting trauma stories. Just like I did the rescripting victim stories, I'll be calling it rescripting trauma stories. Okay, guys. But you all come, know we're rescripting, and be helped to ground. Release the story, embrace the glory. Okay, Irie, that's a fantastic one too. Okay, you guys, you're all amazing. I love you. We'll see you on Friday, if not next week, Tuesday or Thursday. I will schedule them shortly. My love, always.